the developers wanted it to be.
Yeah, shitpost. It's just like,
And we are live.
oh.
Hi.
Shit
Hello.
talking.
We're talking about the Suicide Squad game.
Oh.
About how it's wonderful and it is just like a glorified shitpost of a game.
Oh, okay. That's good. So positive things.
Yeah. It sticks true to the whole Suicide Squad meta of it shouldn't be taken seriously because all this is just a giant running gag after one another.
Okay. All right. I like it. Is everybody
Hello.
Doing all right?
Functional. I didn't really get out of bed until 3 o'clock because somehow I pinched a nerve in my neck, and any sort of movement was causing disorientation and like nausea. So
Ugh.
I stayed in bed until
already. Jesus.
Right?
You know what I did?
God.
You know what I did? I sneezed and turned my head left.
Yep, I'll do it.
And
That's some old man bullshit right there.
I can now only turn my head about this far and this far without the muscles on the back of my neck just tensing.
Hun.
Yeah, that's
No.
what happens when you get this old.
I'm gonna be 42 this year and I fucking hate it. Let me go back to like my early 20s when I was still indestructible.
It was nice being able to sneeze without throwing out your back.
Right? When you
Yeah,
don't
no
you
kidding.
didn't need to like have ibuprofen it within like an arm's reach of you.
Yeah.
Just let me go back to my 20s when I was able to take wrestling bumps without a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least let us skip this year because it's bullshit.
Oh yes, please.
That
You know what?
too.
No.
Yeah.
Let's not
Like,
skip
just
all of
gonna
it.
opt
Let's
out
keep
of
all the good
bullshit.
stuff. Let's keep all the good stuff and just like throw the bad stuff away.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I don't want to delay Dragon's Dogma 2 for another year.
Oh my God.
That game is already pre-ordered. I got the collector's edition, and I'm just like, okay, this is just gonna be my stream for a couple months.
I'm contemplating the collector's edition. I want it, and I know it's a $10 difference, but I'm like,
Do it.
should I?
Just do
I saw the combination weapons that people are like the things we're using. Like some dude like breaks out like a staff, makes like a giant like ice wall, runs up the ice wall, summons a great sword, and jumps and just like helm breakers an ogre.
You can switch between classes now. You used to have to
Yeah.
go back to the tavern, switch
No,
your
it's-
class, and then go out. Now you can do it big battle.
You've got
oh my God.
You've got Devil May Cry 5 Dante stance changes.
That's incredible. That's so cool. I'm really looking
it's
forward
like-
to it.
That makes you so broken. Jesus Christ, what are we fighting?
No, this
Yes.
is gonna be great. I am very much looking forward to it. I've been waiting years for this.
I'm afraid when games give me the amount of freedom that I give in a D&D campaign, because I know what's that entails.
Yeah.
That's what I keep telling you. We're like, oh, we're getting all this really cool, could be considered broken shit, but that stuff's gonna come at us too.
Yeah.
Here's a beholder
So-
who, instead of eye stalks, has long range laser cannons.
Isn't that default beholder?
No, long range, more than 100 feet.
Oh.
A mile away.
It's like instead of disintegration, one eye stalk is just an anti-material rifle.
It's a beholder with sorcerer meta magic.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Which, thank you for saying that, because now I'm making that a thing.
Oh God.
Thanks, Fox.
God damn it.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
Everything that has spells or magical abilities should have sorcerer meta magic. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Makes
yeah.
it more interesting.
And if
Speaking
it doesn't,
of interesting.
it will.
Speaking of D&D and interesting, first of all, don't know what's going on with my cam. I don't know why there's like a weird blur and dark. I don't know what's going on with my cam, so I apologize on what's happening here. But yeah, hi guys.
Hello,
Welcome
darkness,
to
my old
another
friend.
exciting episode of Behold Lore.
I completely
Yes.
forgot.
Yeah.
I should probably have chat open.
That
Yeah.
might be good. Might be good.
A little
Yeah.
bit.
Look, I made dinner
That would
tonight.
be
Now
tough.
now brain functions are at an all-time low.
I mean, if it helps being hostess, will help with the questions with the chat open. But, it also helps. So yeah. But yeah, welcome to part 3 of 4, if my math is correct, of the
Yeah.
Destiny Forged Season 2 Epilogue Edition, where we are here with Azharen and GilleTam, aka Rose and Tarashara, where we're going to be discussing what they've been up to for the past 60 years since the end of Campaign 2, and between Campaign 3, of course. So, yeah, first things first, unlike the one where it was me and Fox, where it was kind of like 2 characters talking about their own thing, both Rose and Tarashara kind of continued the next 60 years together. So instead of splitting it like we did that episode, these are going to be combined. So we will start off, only because we had this discussion before we went live. Azharen, we'll have you go first since you have kind of the layout.
All right.
On what have you guys been up to? So just kind of give us the rundown. GilleTam, you chime in as well, and then we'll just kind of explore from there. So what have you been up to the last 60 years?
So after all the nonsense with Vincent and everything was cleared and there was no more end of the world, Rose and Tarashara just fucked around the world for a bit. Just,
Phrasing.
Well, I mean, literal and and whatnot.
We said what we said.
Yeah, I meant
Sure.
it. They just basically toured for like, 5, about roughly 5 years. They just, they wanted to just, not be around crazy nonsense because they both had their own bullshit to deal with, and they're both putting it off as long as they possibly could. And then after the millionth email from Ziggy saying please for the love of God, tap in, I need out of this.
I have a quick question on that one. How many years did Rose leave him as like the interim king of the Fae?
5 years. So however long it was until that point where things ended with Vincent, plus that 5 years.
That poor man.
Oh yeah.
That poor guy.
The guy,
Yeah,
He was the one with the pompadour thing. Yeah, okay.
He was one of the 2 Pombellos.
That was what it was called. Yep. Okay.
Yep. So, Rose ascended. Begrudgingly at first. She didn't think that level of responsibility was something that was in her wheelhouse, but I think it was something she became more accustomed to taking on, being with Tarashara, considering she's royalty. In that 5 years of travel, they went to her hometown. Rose met her parents and her brother.
Where's Tarashara from again?
Oh god, I have to actually remember the name.
Far Reaches.
It was over near where Tickles was from.
Oh, was the Far Reach?
Yeah, she's over in she was over in the Far Reach. I can actually minimize my screen because I'm not hosting today.
Hey.
Let me get the map. This is the map that has the thing. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the map as well. Let's see here.
Nope, that's the old map. That's 1.0 map. I have too many maps.
You never have too many maps.
Oh no, trust me, I have way too many maps.
Yeah, the Far Reach was Oh yeah, it was Lurin. Lurin.
I'm trying to find my
No,
note.
Lurin was something
Was
else.
that Tickles?
It was
that
kind of
Kingdom?
towards the north of that kingdom, though. It
Yeah.
was Tickles. I took a small
Artem?
piece of Tickles.
Was it
Kingdom.
Artem?
Artem was next door to it.
Yeah. So
It's
in the
been a
Far
few
Reach,
years, guys.
there's Lurin, Artem, Eric, and Veldur, Malorsic, and Nephilis.
Which Nephilis is definitely a no.
Yeah.
We know about that crazy town. We didn't go there, but we know the bag of crazy down there. Malorsic was obvious. Far Reach was that huge forest that we're traveling through, and that's where we met the Red Hag.
Here it is.
Mhm.
It was. I know that's the token for. What do you call it?
I know I saved this map. Where the hell did I save it to?
It's Artem.
It was
Artem.
Artem. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were neighbors to Tickles Kingdom.
Yeah. Neighbors to like closest to Lirin, and then Arak and Veldor were over on the west coast.
It's kind of funny. This is one of the biggest continent type places that we've had in the campaign so far. And despite that, 3 of the characters are all from the same little spot of land on this map.
Yep. Well, and it's funny too, because if I remember correctly, me and Rose, Ash and Rose, were practically neighbors.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
it's kind of funny.
Just south of the Frigid Crown, yeah.
It's funny how that worked out.
Yeah, and it wasn't planned. It was just like,
No.
I was like, it was just like that's just naturally where her clan would be. But yeah, Rose met her rents. Found out she's half silver dragon.
Yep.
She did not know that at all. She was like, oh, you're half dragon, and then immediately checked her ass for a tail because half dragons are supposed to have a tail.
I think by then you'd know if she had a tail.
Yeah. He's like,
Just
it's a
saying.
tail.
Doesn't mean
It's
that's
half
not,
dragon. I know. She's
extendable.
like, but Father Rose, I guess they were amicable. I mean, he's a dragon, so Rose doesn't really have a lot of love for dragons, all things considered. But for some
She was part
oddball
dragon.
reason, but
For a
I
time.
mean, pure blood dragons. Her father is a pure silver ancient dragon. Well, no, younger,
He's
a young
younger.
adult. So
She's still old by dragon aspect, yeah.
which is yeah. But Rose and her mom get along swimmingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rose figured out real fast that all the pressure Tarshar puts on herself is self-inflicted.
Yep. Yeah, like she was ready to just light some shit up in the palace. How dare you fuck with my boo, make her feel like she's inadequate, blah blah blah. And then she's like, you guys are lovely. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
he's like, honey, what's going on? They're fucking great. It's like,
Look, Shara felt like she felt like she needed to fill her mother's shoes, and those were big shoes to fill. Put a lot of pressure on herself for it.
she found out they have this very recently changed ritual that went from being go out into the world and find a dragon and kill it before you can assume the throne to just do a walkabout for a few years and come back, and when you get your shit together, and then it's like, I was like, all right, cool. It's like, I would have killed a dragon with you, if you wanted me to. It's like, I have one in particular we can hunt down and kill. It's like, you can find that fucker.
He's
You
on
leave
all
that
of our
red-
lists.
You leave that red dragon alone. He's
He is
important.
on-
He's important to campaign 4. Damn it.
like I said,
Can't pay for.
I always asked what had plot armor and what didn't, because what I want to do may not necessarily fall in line with what the overarching story is. So,
Mhm.
he's just on Rose's shit list. She's like, I can't
How
find the
many shit
fucker.
lists he's been on? It's been
Yeah.
It's
kind of
like,
funny.
yeah, she's like, I can't find the fucker. So it's like, as long as he stays hidden, he's alive.
He's in our
He,
boat.
he pokes his fucking nose out, he's gonna get dumped. So like, we screwed around for a while, and Rose ascended. She became, Queen of the Summer Court. Shortly after, her and Tarshara got married. Being now a greater Fae being, Rose can now gift immortality to another being. But it's very similar to a warlock pact. It's not a pact. I've talked to Rojan about it. It's basically a binding of sorts. So it's like it's very, I would presume it's very akin to some sort of familial tie, just on a Fae level. So, Rose asked Tarashara, do you want to, live forever? Because it'll be boring without you. And she said, yeah. So, as part of their wedding vows, Rose made her immortal.
Aww. Now, how many times can she use that ability? Like once every 100 years? Oh, one and
Once.
done.
It's technically, if you look at it, Fae wedding vows.
It's cute. I like it.
Also, we have to figure something out, because I'm not spending the eternal afterlife without Kieran and my displacer beast.
Well, Kieran is technically yours. It's technically a part of you, so he shares
Yeah.
in your
And
immortality.
it's an elemental Fae creature, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Little zippy
And
thing,
then-
yeah.
And then
Intelligent electric space hamster. That's Kieran.
Kieran is
Yeah.
different because Kieran is technically, so it doesn't fall under technically the
Well, the displacer
one
beast is
the one time.
Displacer beast is Nox.
That's what I
Kieran's
meant. That's what I meant. Nox. So Nox is technically your pet, which is different than forming an immortality pact with the one you love. That you can technically grant immortality to, like longevity or whatever, without overstepping your bounds.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
imagine you'd be able to form a bond with your pet in the same way that a ranger forms a bond with their animal companion. It did initially enter the world just as an animal, but through that bond, it becomes something more, and even when it dies, it can be quote unquote resummoned. So I
'Cause it
imagine
is a
that
tattoo
same
on her. So it
type of
kinda
ruling applies
summoned.
to your displacer beast.
Yeah.
Well, Rose uses tattoos as a form of magic. Her living tattoo, when she
Mhm.
ascended, comes back to life.
That's the rose on her back, correct?
It's a rose bush.
Oh.
It initially was used to track and bind her progression as she became stronger. But when she broke her pact with, her mother, and it died. So she basically had, it looked like a really intricate tattoo of a dead rose bush on her back, which would not make a whole lot of sense. It's physically a part of her. She can never get rid of it.
Right.
But when she ascended, the essence of Fey energy that powered it came back, so it came back to life. And that's pretty much where Kieran hangs out. Kieran hangs out like pretty much like on Rose all the time. So like whenever she's like in meetings or doing paperwork or she's frustrated, he'll pop out and just run around the desk, give her shit. Which she appreciates. Because in the time after she ascends and they get married, Rose is like, I want kids, which she always wanted. This is the conversation that her and Tara Shara had while the campaign was still active.
I do remember that. Yeah.
However, because of Fae bullshit, artifacts in the like can't facilitate a gender swap for either her or Tara Shara, so they pretty much have to conceive the way Asari do in Mass Effect. So it's like a elaborate ritual that basically combines their essence and then chucks it into one of their wombs. So Rose had a kid first. That was the plan, and it was a girl, Lily Gale, and we waited about a year, and then just to wean and all that bullshit. And then Tara Shara
Whatever
had her
moms
go.
do, whatever that stuff is.
And the two moms are over there going, what?
The two moms are just like
It's like a PowerPoint with the the cloud, and it just says mom. It's
Yeah.
like that's whatever happens in there happens there. I don't know. Just is black magic as far as I'm concerned. But Tara Shara had twins. So she had Coda and Camilla, and because Tara Shara is horrendously superstitious,
yes,
having odd number of children was a major no-no.
Oh god, you're like my sister.
bad luck.
Bad luck.
You can't even those out.
Is
Okay,
bad
can't
luck.
even them out.
Oh god.
So Rose said, "Fuck it," and the twins were fraternal. So Rose had the fourth kid, and luckily it was a boy. And she named him Cassidy after her brother who was murdered by the Bearfolk who she murdered.
Oh,
That's right. Oh, that's a callback.
Oh yeah, and the kids are cool. The kids grow up, fine. Lily is, Rose takes over the family business. So when she's not running things in the Feywild, as for the court, she's basically handling all of the family business stuff. It's more in name than anything else. Rojan told me when we were doing stuff in the campaign that Rose's parents are actually elder darklings, so they have like an undiscernible lifespan. As long as they don't do stupid shit, they're pretty much gonna be around for a long ass time. But she wanted to spend times with my grumpy ass father. So I took over the business, renamed it to Bramble, took over the black market. We just took over the black market in Artem. Was it your uncle?
No, all the uncles are dead. Family friend.
Oh,
It's a family friend. Basically an ex-adventurer that traveled with her mother for a while. Had control over it. He didn't want it. He was ready to be rid of it too. So when Rose came along, he's like, "Take it, I'm out."
So Rose expanded into Artem. She basically everywhere she can get her greedy little hands into, she has something. She works obviously still with Piper. They're business partners. As far as I'm concerned, she and Piper have not had any sort of falling out, so she is perfectly fine working with him, especially since they have vested interests in one or two puppet governments. So
One or
So-
two, that's cute.
They're so adorable.
It's like, I mean, he expanded her vision of what you can do with an underground organization. Taking over governments is the next logical thing. Art theft, larceny, black market, government toppling. It's there.
Does that mean Tarshar
So-
was a stay-at-home mom?
No, she did her shit. She had things to do. I mean, Rose looked to her a lot as an advisor when court was in session because of the whole royalty thing. She was like, I'm gonna rule fair and strict. She did not want another incident in the Feywild happening, like with Vincent. So whenever she was head of the table, she didn't fuck around. Like, if your actions was a threat to the Feywild, shit got squashed quickly.
That caused for some people to rise up.
That's something Ferocian let me know. She's only in charge of the Feywild for a single season. During that season, it's like, you fuck around and find out. She's like, if you guys want to be on the other side of the gate that's locked, stuck on the prime material, because you decided to be a dumbass, you can do that. But I'm going to make sure I give you a swift kick in the ass before I let it get that far.
Sounds like every adventuring party ever.
Yeah.
Especially the fuck around and find out.
Oh, 100%. Fafo is always a
Yeah.
rule.
And it's not like
Yeah.
Tarshara didn't have other things to do too. She, her kingdom had to be run by someone eventually too. She eventually passed it off to her brother, especially after agreeing to become immortal. She didn't want to rule forever. But it also took a giant weight off of her shoulders and allowed her to relax because she pressured herself so much. So it was a relief for her to be able to pass it off to her brother to get a good. She needed a good excuse for herself, essentially. And but she played his advisor for a while too, trying to help him get up and ready to run a kingdom as well.
I mean, you definitely have like advisor energy. It looks like just looking at your art, you're very much like you definitely one of like reeling her in if she needs to be reeled in, or just being like, yeah, no, this works. Just keep going. You're doing great, honey.
Yeah,
Or when Rose comes home and just needs to get it off her chest because she held it in too long. Yeah, I'll listen.
that was literally what she did for Rose. Yeah, because Rose, she's just like, oh my god, I can't deal with these motherfuckers. If I have to deal with these assholes for millennia, people are gonna die. That's just how she is.
Yep.
But the kids grow up, I guess, as normal can be, if you're considering the nonsense that's around them too. Lily works in the family as a basically an art thief. So she scouts out marks. She actually works with some of Tickle's kids during their time not adventuring or loafing around or not in court. Rose took a special liking, obviously, during the campaign to Minty and Lance, the twins. She knew like she was gonna do some heinous chicanery with those two when they come of age. And Shelley was really into art, so Rose again is still into art. She has a very fine eye for it. So whenever they got around each other, they just naturally gravitated. So those three are, of all the nieces and nephews, probably some of Rose's favorites because they have the most in common. but Minty and Lance are the muscle for Lily and Shelly. So basically, they get the marks, and then if anything goes wrong, the twins play cleanup. So
We have a lot of
that's how
twins
that-
across the board, I've noticed. A lot of twins.
I did not come up with the twins. That was all Gilly.
It was a random.
You
thought
always
that
have
popped in my head.
twins!
I
You
always
were a
wanted
twin.
twins, okay?
You were a twin!
Like we decided we would however the kids were gonna be born, we would figure that out. And then she's like, I want twins, and she's like, twins, but they're 3, so you have to have a 4th. And I was like, Rose wouldn't care. She
You know
wouldn't
what?
care.
Screw you all. Next campaign, I'm gonna be Octomom.
Do it.
Topple that.
Pickles already did it.
Fair.
It's
Yeah.
true, she
Yeah, but
did,
that's a rap
and she's
thing, that's a
still
rap thing.
doing it.
You're still
Twice,
doing it.
at
Jesus
least
Christ.
twice, 2 litters at least.
No, if
Jesus.
you guys saw the last episode, it's been nonstop. God knows how many kids she has.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oof,
Yeah,
terrifying.
yeah. It's. She couldn't even give us a number. She was like, yes.
She was
60
like, I
years
just-
nonstop, especially when a
She's
rat
just-
can have, what,
she's
three-
spitting them out.
3 or 4 in a year or something like that, or maybe more.
Oh no,
Yeah.
minimum 3 to 4 on the low end. On the high end,
Yeah.
it could be like like 9.
That's Tickles
It's-
right now.
It's kind of funny because in campaign 2, Zorro, you and our characters were the first of the group to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then in campaign 3, we both went in the same direction with our characters, where Kemek has no interest in that whatsoever, and Mia is incapable of having children. So it's
But
we
how that
just
worked
went in the
out.
complete opposite direction. We did it once in campaign 2, and it's like, yeah, nope,
The
never again.
opposite side now. Yeah, no, yeah. It's funny how
Oh,
that turned
yeah.
out.
It's too funny. It was like Coda and Camilla. Coda's the boy, Camilla's the girl, obviously. Camilla is the roughhouse.
Mhm.
She's pretty much like, if you're dumb enough to fuck with Coda, Camilla was right behind you with a chokehold and possibly a bobble.
She was our violent child. Don't fuck with her family.
Which one
Yeah.
was?
Camilla.
The girl.
Camilla.
girl.
Oh, okay. And where did she
Total-
rank in the
She's the twin.
twin? Okay.
She's one
that's
twin.
right. Okay.
The
Yeah,
girl twin.
she-
Coda,
total
the-
roughhousing.
The boy twin, he's a giant softie. He is a little softie.
So how many kids
Yep.
total was that then? Was that
We have
4 or
4.
5? 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
4.
Okay.
Don't say
Coda-
5. Don't say 5. We just
If it's
discussed this.
immortal, you can have
Even
you can have
numbers.
as many as you want.
Yeah. So
Half the crew's immortal. You can do whatever the literal fuck you want.
Coda grows up to be a cleric of Coatil, domain of the open sea. I was looking for domains. Well, no, I'm sorry. That's Camilla. Coda is a Twilight cleric of Coatil. Camilla's oath is Oath of the Open Sea. So I was
The
looking.
new one. Perfect.
Yeah, I was looking
That's
at
cool.
oaths, and I was like, could be conquest. So I'm looking, and I was like, God damn it, Murdoch, what the fuck? Why do you keep making all the good shit?
That's
so
yeah, that's
that
from
was
Critical Role.
Mercer's.
That was
Yeah, it's
Mercer's,
Mercer's.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, we got more
yeah,
coming out for this campaign apparently.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
made an oath of the open sea. So
Mhm.
that's what
So
Camilla
Ford
is.
was.
Yep, that makes sense.
That's cool. Yeah.
So she's open sea. Coda's Twilight, takes after his mom.
Yes. See, Camilla might be the one out there kicking asses and taking names, but Coda's right behind her healing her. Like, nope, you gotta
He's
get
like,
back
"God
up because
damn it."
someone has to protect me.
God damn it. So he's willing to heal stupid. He's just like, it's family. It's family.
Only family stupid. Everyone
There
else.
we go.
Only yes,
Fair.
exactly.
Families-
Only
families-
fam-
family stupid is the only forgivable stupid.
Yeah,
Within reason.
within reason.
And then Cassidy actually gravitated towards Rose's father and became an enforcer in the family. And so he's muscle for the clan. Which Rose is like, it kind of, still after his namesake. Rose is still arguing with her father to this day to either regenerate his arm that he lost or use the very, very expensive mechanical arm she had made for him. It's like the finest of artificer and Kamiraskin technology. Like it is data level of artificial arm. And it's basically on his mantle. He just looks at it.
Yep. He will never use it.
Just doesn't use it. Pisses her off. It pisses her off every time. She's like, "You stubborn old fucking man! I could fix your arm if you let me." And just like, "Nope, war wound." I'm just like,
Yeah, pretty much.
dummy. She gets mad. So the kids are good. They're doing their own thing. The family gets together at least once a month. Just to touch base, see how things are doing, all that stuff. Let's see.
So I have a question kind of building on top of your kids being involved in
Family
Rose's,
business.
like faith and family business. That's I have a question for that too. But with Coatil and the family growing and kind of being more devoted to the sea and her in a sense, how has Rose's relationship with her grown? Has she been gifted more grand powers and abilities? Is it more on faith nowadays? Like how's that grown and developed?
I don't know. That's a Rojan thing to tell me. As far as in my mind, Rose is not a cleric, but she's like a bishop. She's not
Just a
really.
step below.
Yeah, she's not she's not really clergy, but she's in the church.
She's
Rose
pretty much what would be considered an honored champion of Coatil. Like Coatil's handpicked warrior.
It's like don't tell New Dagger Tree that Rose is not high up on that chain.
Oh, Rose is. She goes every year, high holidays. She goes back to New Dagger Tree. She holds mass. She makes a spectacle of doing the homebrew thing.
Odd.
And now she has 2 little helpers. Well, I guess they're not little anymore, but
And a certain druid from New Dagger Tree is always confused why a bunch of people in a landlocked desert are venerating a sea goddess.
I'm sure it confuses a lot of people.
Your poor boy, Rojan.
Yep.
Just like
And Rose takes the lead on making a warrior troop that are wind riders. So basically, they are on surfboards with sails, and that's how they travel in the desert. They catch the wind and just shoosh along.
Oh, just wait until you see what I have planned for that.
I'm all for it. There's got to be wind riders. You have these oddball gnolls in the fucking desert. Of course they're like, we don't have actual waves we can ride. We're gonna ride dunes. So just a bunch of fucking valley boys running around and their dune buggies and their surfboards and their skiffs. Shooting
got all the surfboards.
shooting the sand.
They make it work.
Love it. Yeah, it could work. Rose has a lot of things happening. She has some questionable ties still with the lower planes. She still is close with Taka and Mac. Taka is obviously super flirty every time she meets Rose. But you know, Rose is happily married. So it's like you know, like she wonders sometimes if Tarashara is concerned. She figures she might be a little jealous, but you know, business is business, and you know, Taka is part of Rose's past, not her future. But you know, she's still a good friend, and she's still a good contact for doing, you know, near do well business in the bowels of hell. Let's just say, you know, Rose every so often comes into a stash of soul coins, and she doesn't always filter them through Piper. You know,
And Tarshar is
Does
fine with
Piper
it.
find out?
I was like, she learned the ins and outs of, you know, of moving soul coins from Piper. You know, so it's like, you know, soul coins are a very specific, very valuable currency in the hells. And initially Rose was not using them correctly, and Piper's the one that was like, you gotta do it this way. And then, you know, when she figured out how to move them properly, she uses Max. She uses Mac and Taka to facilitate that. So, you know, they're tertiary business partners, and you know, Mac is still a penny pinching asshole, and he tries to fucking screw her over every chance he gets. But you know, she's very much wiser, especially since she's learned a lot of deal making from Piper. So he definitely has opened up her eyes to the art of the deal. So they're cool. She still, well, her and Tarshar still go to Malorsik on Tyrus's death day to mourn.
Oh, we're all gonna be there.
Yes, you guys will more than likely have more interaction with Tarshar than Rose. Rose isn't unaccustomed to death, but she, you know, she feels a certain way when she sees someone she considers a good friend die. And Rose witnessed, you know, Tyrus dying, you know, of his own will and volition. So she like, you may catch a glimpse of her, but she basically, you know, roses around Malorsik, and mourns in her own private way.
Knowing Ash, she would just look at Tarashar and be like, "Get that bitch over here so I can give her a hug. How dare her ignore us? Get her over here. Call her right now. Rose, get over here.
No,
We still have
Rose
the
will come.
pearls over here."
You know,
Rose will come when she's ready.
the stupid thing is, like, she always has her stupid pearl on her.
I will find you.
So if like any one of the original crew who, like, you know, wants to, you know, say hi or whatever, you know, Rose may not respond, but she's always listening.
And then while they're there for Tarshar, it's almost a little awkward for her because she knew Tyrus, just not this version of Tyrus. So it's just real awkward. Like, I didn't actually know this one, but I know Tyrus. So she kind of spends the time trying not to intrude on anyone else's grief over what happened.
Wait until we all find out that he's not dead. We're all gonna be so pissed.
Right?
We're gonna be so pissed.
Roger, you muted.
It's like that bittersweet, like, yay, but we're like, who fucked with his choice?
I'm not muted. My cat was laying on my mixer. Now she's laying on my hand. I said, hey, wait, what? who said what now?
We already saw him once.
Yeah. Let's see. As far as relationships with the crew, I guess easiest to go with is she doesn't really look for or associate with Kyo much. They just things with them were never, I guess, copacetic.
That's fair.
She doesn't go looking for fights with Kyo, but she's like, that's just a personality that I'm not gonna mesh with, so she just avoids Kyo.
I think that's everybody's impression of Kyo. Let's be honest. That's
From
not a
sometimes
personality
Kyo
I'm
doesn't
going to mesh
associate with
with.
Kyo.
Yeah. I mean, well, the
Yeah.
thing is, Rose sees that other people in the group get along relatively
Mhm.
well with Kyo, but Rose is a grudge holder. She's just like, she never has 100% fully forgiven Kyo for exploding the vault onto the world. Yeah.
I would like to personally thank Kyo for exploding the vault onto the world.
Of course you would.
Hey,
I mean, let's be honest.
Thank Kyo, because Kyo is the reason why campaign 4 is going to be a thing.
And we all know
Thank
that
you, Kyo.
Kyo is just standing there with a proverbial bomb in her hands, like, and I'd do it again.
Yeah.
I'm doing it again right now.
I'm gonna do it after lunch.
Just once a year, after like everybody gets together to like goes to Tyrus's grave, Kyo just goes back to the vault and just throws another bomb down it.
Yep.
This
Just to make
place
sure
could
nothing
do
else is
with
there.
another earthquake.
That's
Just
how
in
she
case.
passes the time.
Speaking of yearly get-togethers, Tarashara holds a yearly ball
Mhm.
for everyone to get together.
Yep.
Is this now, GilleTam, is this at your castle or is this in the Fey realm or some neutral place on the regular realm?
Probably mixes it up.
Oh,
Probably
it's
mixes it
different
up.
every time on the invitation.
Yeah. It's never the same place twice. But she wants a place for everyone to see each other. There's hired babysitters for when we all have kids. It's just a place for everyone to come, relax, and get together. Catch up with each other. Forced interaction!
Our kids
If Kyo doesn't show up. When, your kids are invited. There's babysitters.
Okay.
She has royal babysitters on hand.
Oh, bless their souls.
They get paid a lot. They're not cheap.
Hazard pay is a thing.
Yeah. And when Kyo doesn't show up, Tarshara goes looking for her and drags her there.
I don't know. We
Forced
all
teleport.
saw what happened last time somebody dragged Kyo somewhere she didn't want to be. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Tarshara does her best.
It's different.
That was a little different too,
It's
yeah.
fine. It's fine.
And that's why we change locations every time, so Kyo can't avoid us as easily.
Fair.
One of the times she just plans it in Kyo's little underground thing that she's building.
You just gotta reach out to Rex and have him drag her to the ball.
There we go.
There you go.
I don't put it
Rex-
past them to do that.
Rex is always one for a party, so
Yeah. There'll be meat and there'll be alcohol, come on.
And I did confirm with Grudes just to make sure it was cool, but Rose and Tickles do have a yearly get-together where they bring out their biggest and best cannons and basically have cannon off.
I knew it. I knew it. Jesus Christ.
Rose,
Who usually wins?
It switches.
Okay.
Tickles has access to about as much insane explodey people as Rose does, so it just whoever is the more inspired that year. Rose
So it keeps you on your toes.
she basically has a proprietary pocket dimension where she keeps her cannons. because Tarashar doesn't want them cluttering up any of the houses.
Don't need those in here.
That's funny.
Especially when the kids are young and running around.
Rose, so
Speaking of, I do know that it's not always the firstborn, so that's why I want to ask, like, who is Rose grooming to kind of take over eventually of the family business?
oh, Lily, definitely.
Why Lily?
She's the most like Rose when Rose was growing up. Like she has an eye for fineries.
Hmm.
Rose has she's working on dealing with her squeamishness when it comes to, you know, knocking people off, but you know, she hangs around with Tickle's kids long enough that'll just, you know, come second hat. She figures, you know, give it a century or two, you know, she'll get into it. You know, Coda and Camilla are 100% Tarashar's shadows. You know, there's like very little of Rose in either of those two kids. Like they are 100%.
Except the one that's, you know, kicking people's asses and taking names.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know,
Mhm.
but I mean, you know, Tarashar is also that level of violently protective with family and friends. So, you know, she's got the most mix of the two. And Cassidy, he's just a quiet, you know, no nonsense, take no prisoners kind of kid. You know, he basically he's the perpetual big brother, which Rose loves. The fact that he looks out for other members of the family, the way his uncle used to. So, but as far as personal grooming, yeah, Lily's Rose's
It's the most
kid.
ideal. Yeah.
Like of all the kids, she's the only one that has the flower name. So pretty much, you know, tells people, you know, she's not Rose's favorite, but you know, Rose.
Don't tell that to the kids.
Oh, she would never tell it to the kids. But you know, Rose has deep-seated family issues. You know, I mean, she had a lot of crazy shit happen. You know, her mother and her actual sister both tried to kill her in a very violent, horrible manner. So it's like, she's like, you know, she's the poster child for it's not the family you're born into, it's the family you choose. You know, and
Gosh.
That, and I feel like Camilla is too much of a free spirit to want to take over for us.
Oh god, yeah.
And Coda's a softie, so he does not fit the bill whatsoever.
Yeah. He'll be ruined.
Yeah, and Cassidy is just not. He doesn't have. Didn't say he doesn't have the wherewithal, but you know, he's like, he's very much like Rose's father. You know, it's like Rose's mother takes care of the, you know, the organizational side of things, and when shit gets messy, you know, she tells Pa, you know, dumb shit is happening over there. Take care of it. And you know, he just comes back, you know, a day or a week later, you know, a little scarred up, a little bloodied. You know, it's like shit was handled. That's the extent of those conversations, and that's pretty much how Cassidy is. You know,
I love the personalities.
Yeah.
All right, so what we'll do right now, since it's on the hour, we're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a break, get up, stretch, get some water, snacks, all that stuff like, and then we're gonna just jump in with some more questions and lore behind the two characters. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll see you in just a bit.
The room, so she has to make noise to make me come back.
Yep. As soon as she heard you
Speak
coming,
and I
she
will
stopped.
come back. Hello.
Oh, hi.
I know you're not talking about me.
Oh,
No, we're
talking about Evie
about
causing trouble.
mischievous cats.
Of course. Of course.
The question is, was she chewing on the chair?
I only
Oh,
saw
at least the
clawing,
table.
but there could have been chewing.
We cannot confirm nor deny.
It's hard to tell from the angle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Normally she'll either climb up here and she'll start scratching, or she'll sit here and she'll start yelling until I come back.
Mew, 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 mew.
Well, she's Siamese, right? So that
they're
Siamese cats,
sassy.
they don't mew. They're loud
Oh no,
cats.
she
They're
no, she mews.
demanding.
She mews. She doesn't have that, like, the baby cry that other Siamese do.
Oh, you are lucky, sir.
Well, yeah, her mom was feral, so she didn't develop. She's
Okay.
she's barely developed her
Oh.
voice now. I've had her for 4 years, and now she's talking and chirping and meowing.
Aw.
but she doesn't have the baby cry that the other Siamese cats that I've had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you are so lucky. My parents had a black Siamese growing up, and when that cat went into heat, it was the worst thing in the world.
Oh, my aunt Vicky had
Oh,
Siamese.
Kept the whole house awake.
Yeah.
It was a 2-story house.
Yep. When they go into heat, man. Oh my god, that.
Oh god, it's the worst.
That's why I have dogs.
That and I'm allergic
Fuck
to cats.
that noise. Literally.
You say, as literally before we started this stream, you told everyone, hey guys, I'm going to have to periodically mute myself because my dog is snoring so loudly.
He's
And
a
I
dog. Leave him alone.
I could hear
they have
him
you there.
snoring. Like near before we went on the break, I can hear him snoring over your microphone.
I mean,
No.
that means the
Until they go,
poor
"Aw,
guy's got fuck genetics as it is. You know, it's like, leave him be. If the worst he does is snore loudly, that's a
Look.
pass in my book.
His is genetics. All cats do that screaming in heat murder sound.
That's
worse
why
than those Siamese.
that's why I get my cats fixed.
Technically also genetics, but it's genetically being an asshole.
My parents did too. The problem is we rescued the cat from the neighbor's tree, and she went into heat like 2 weeks later.
Oh,
Ah.
Jesus.
And there was no option.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of going into heat, so Tartar and
Okay. That's a
See where
weird
that-
segue.
There's a
That
segue
segue.
for you. God
I
damn.
think it's going for tickles. Sorry.
Rose
Speaking of
does not
fucking-
call her Tartar.
speaking of fucking.
No, what does Rose call me?
You know, I have been thinking about that very seriously because Rose did not know that, you know, Tarshara's name is a compound name.
Mhm.
Technically, Tar is her first name.
Technically.
She's like, I'm not gonna call you Tar. Ew. It's like, even if it's a
Tartar.
name, it's like, even as that's just worse because it's just like she just thinks it's tartar sauce. It's just like,
Mhm.
no, she's not gonna call the woman
Tartar
she
sauce
loves
is delicious.
tartar. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna get
Oh,
into
my
the
little tartar
specificities of that,
sauce.
but
Oh, wow.
but
Tartar sauce.
there, it's like she would probably call her like my heart in Gaelic. You know, and she would call her that basically when she's around family or they're in the house together. But if they're in mixed company, she calls her Tarashara.
Yeah.
And you know, Rose just tells her, like, I'm not gonna call you Tar. That's just you. But you know, when they're
Tarshara's name was designed to be all together. Like, her full name is Tarashara. That's what they go by. But the Ishara, because she's Kalashar, they have a spirit that's connected to them for their family. It's connected to their whole family, and that's
I
where
think
the
a lot
Ishara
of people keep
goes from.
forgetting that she's a unique race.
Yeah, the family spirit is Ishar or Ishara, depending on if you're male or female.
Mhm.
So, like, her mother is Korashara, her brother is Ra Ashar. Their name is meant to be said all together. You're not supposed to take the one piece out to be the first name, but technically that is their first name. So it's
Yeah,
weird.
because when you look at their naming convention, yeah, they always fuse the spirit's name. Because I can't remember if I think it's the spirit that gives you the name, like lets you know what their name is, and it always goes, that's their name.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And it's connected to the whole family line. So,
you know, but you know, Rose isn't used to that type of naming convention. So in her mind, you know, she goes like, she's like, Tar is your first name. And I'm just like, why would your parent like, ill Tar? I was like, and then she has to like think about it and go, it's not tar like the icky black nasty substance. It's obviously has meaning in their, you know, lexicon. Tar has, you know, an actual meaning like other names
It's short
do,
for
but
star.
you know, but in
Twilight cleric.
I know, but in her mind, she's like, she's just like, you know, she rather just call her, you know, sweetie and slap her on the ass when she's walking by, you know, than anything else.
Appropriate.
Tarshara doesn't
I
really
still
care what
like
people call her.
Tartar. Obviously, that can't be the pet name since we all call her Tartar, but you know, it's the fun, friendly name for her, Tartar.
I think Kyo only ever referred to her by name once during the campaign, and I believe she did say Tartar.
We did. It was funny. I remember it because I thought it was real funny.
Yep. Can't stop it now.
Tartar doesn't really care how you guys use her name. Does not bother her.
As long as it's not inappropriate.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Depends on who's using it inappropriately.
That's true. Who's using it? Yeah, it depends. But yeah, let's get into some of the nitty gritty. Fox and Rochin, you guys have anything you want to ask them?
So since Rose has taken over as queen of the summer court, who's on the other end? You have any potential or prospective kings of winter?
I thought that was determined by the ruling factions, the way I read it in the book. Like they were separate entities. I mean, I'm not sure how you're you want to have your play on it. As in my mind, Rose wouldn't have any issues with any of the seasonal rulers, as long as they're not actively doing anything that might cause harm to the Feywild. Like that's Rose's main concern, is the embetterment and strengthening of the Feywild, because when she took over, it was only 5 years after Vincent fucked everything up. So I mean, she's spending decades helping to rebuild her people and her land.
Okay. Yeah, so I didn't know
just
if
him, okay? He had a partnership.
I didn't know if she had let the Winter King, A, survive, and B, keep his seat.
Oh, the Mad King?
Being the bit of an unhinged individual that he is. And
I mean, it's
Put
like,
him in a home.
I mean, she has no right to depose him in her mind. I mean, he's just a kooky, ruler. I mean, I couldn't find anything that read him being a detriment to the Feywild.
No,
He's just a natural order. It's like the Feywild is a mix of law and chaos, and all sorts of goofy shit happens. And once a season, batshit crazy has control.
Yeah, it's true. And nobody like in the higher seat, like the higher court, seek to damage the Feywild in any way. I mean, they all play the great game, but in the same way, that's just for personal advancement and whatnot. But they're not going to do anything to harm or hinder the world they love.
Yeah, I mean, Rose would play the game, the personal intrigue, the potential. I mean, considering, a lot of people in the Fey court gave her shit when she was named messenger, she's got a list of people who are on the outs with her. So
you just made the list.
Yeah, like there are certain people in the royalty that if they come to her, she makes them, she won't make them grovel for appearances, but she lets them know you're gonna need a lot of fucking, rubbing your nose on the ground when people aren't looking to make me happy to help you.
I mean, to be fair, Rose has a lot of lists. You gotta specify which list they got on.
Oh yeah.
We all have shit lists. You have to be more specific.
Pretty much.
Rose has multiple shit lists depending on the topic.
Yeah. I mean, there was, her mother, her sister, there is at least a small contingent of royals trying to get rid of Rose as well. Because they were just like, that bitch is gonna be messenger? Fuck that noise. So yeah, Rose is like I mean, she'll play the game, but she definitely will try to rig it in her favor whenever the opportunity arises. And again, she's her mother's daughter. She knows what fights to pick and which ones to lay low.
My Tarshar's there to help.
Mhm.
Reel anyone in.
Pretty much. I mean, I in my mind, Rose's reign would be way more violent without Tarshar there keeping her in check.
Oh, 100%.
And it gives Tarshar something to do.
Speaking of, what is Tarshar doing? When you're not being like an advisor watching the kids, what is Tarshar's goal? What has she been up to?
I mean, she doesn't have a lot of goals going on. I mean, she checks in on her brother and or his descendants. Well, at 60 years, it hasn't really passed on to his descendants, or maybe it has a generation or two. But otherwise, I know when Zale opened up for trading, she was there. She wanted to get in at ground level as a representative for her country, and she was like, no, we're here, and she was like first on the list. She was waiting for it. She does a little bit for her own goddess, her moon goddess, but there's not a lot of rituals. There's not a lot about her. She's more of a goddess that her mom had heard about during her travels and told Shara about, and she took a liking to. She probably does a little bit of when her brother's kids have to go out and do their coming of age walkabout, as Azharen put it. When they have to go out and see the world and adventure for a bit before they're allowed to come back to the royal family. She probably does a bit of time like keeping an eye on them and making sure things don't go horribly awry for them. Knowing the dangers of the world herself.
Yeah.
But in that, she's just kind of hanging out, and she does enjoy the politicalness of helping Rose without the pressure of being the one in charge.
So still kind of doing her duties as a royal without being the face.
Yes. It doesn't come down to her in the end.
Technically, you're still, you're
she doesn't have an
royalty
image
as far as you
form.
married into Fae royalty. It's just, you're just like,
Yeah.
girl, I get to sit back and just sip tea. I'm good.
And she'll have that however Rose wants, but for the most part, she lets Rose do her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, as the years go on, I imagine Rose needs less and less help. But
yeah, I mean, as far as Rose is concerned, she doesn't, deny the fact that Tarshar comes from royalty. She's just, she's Rose's Valley Girl boo.
Very true. All right, Fox, do you have a question?
Yeah. I mean, the backstory covered most of what I was curious about, but I do have one question for Rose and one question for Tarshara. Starting with Rose. Actually, we learned during the campaign, I believe, after we were first introduced to Coateal and everything that they encompass, that Coateal is, I guess, part of the Fae pantheon, right? She was a Fae god, if I remember correctly.
She is, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so how then has Rose's veneration for Coateal impacted her influence over the Summer Court? And I guess a follow-up for Rojan, how have the other Fae on the court reacted to such a strong influence from just one individual god within their whole pantheon?
You want me to take the question first, Azharen, or you want it?
I guess because yours will probably be a little bit longer, so I guess you should go first.
Play off that one.
True. Honestly, they don't really see a problem with it. as while they are higher up Fae-like beings, they're not technically all gods. They're more archfey, and while they see it a bit odd that the Queen of the Summer Court is technically venerating another being of higher power, there's a bit of understanding that this was who Rose followed before becoming, before taking the seat. Also, none of them are stupid enough to try to question, either Rose's faith or try to destroy said veneration, as Coatil has some influence over the Feywild itself.
Yeah, and Rose isn't, Rose's faith, and I think it's not, I wouldn't say veneration. I mean, Rose has legitimate love for Coatil as a being. Because when Rose was in a really dark place, Coatil helped her find, I don't want to say salvation because it makes it sound too, religious-y. But she pulled her out of, I think if Rose didn't wind up pacting with Coatil, Rose would have had a much darker tail end of the campaign than what she had. There was a lot of betrayal, there was a lot of hurt. She wasn't very sure who to trust, and she just allowed herself to have faith in Coatil, and it brought her new perspective in her life, and it took her out of a potentially very dark and dangerous path, and Rose recognizes that, and has no compunction to turn the Summer Court into another arm of Coatil's influence. Rose's faith and her dealings with Coatil are separate from the Summer Court. It's like going to mass on Sundays, while she's ruling. It's like, she's like, oh, 10 o'clock, oh, we gotta hit mass, and then, got paperwork at 3, that type
It's on the docket.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
It sounds like she keeps that part of her faith and that part of herself very personal, and it also sounds like the rest of the people on the court recognize it as a personal thing, and they're cool with that.
Did your dog just come in from the window, or am I seeing things?
No, he was laying down behind me. He got up. He went to the window, and
It
then
was
he
just
came back.
how it looked. Dog was just like,
Yep, it looked like it.
like he's done it before.
Just casually coming in the window.
I mean, he would if there wasn't a screen on that window.
Sorry
Absolutely.
about that. It totally freaked me out. It looked like he totally was sneaking in from
He's a
the
big enough
outside.
dog. Screens be nothing to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a husky shepherd mix, so it doesn't matter how high up that window is either. He's either going to jump through it or climb through it.
Or eat it.
Not a big chewer, thankfully.
Oh, okay, that's good. All right. We're learning a lot about each other and our dogs. Animals. Sorry. All of our animals. Okay. We did have a strange question. I'm trying to find it.
He had a question for Tara Shar as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I did. So I don't know. This could be a very short answer, or it could be a very long answer. Having as much knowledge as she did of events that happened, events that could have happened, and events that ran parallel to our own reality, how has that influenced the way that Tarashara viewed the world after the time continuance ended? Or maybe how has that skewed her perception of the world afterwards?
Definitely, it more skewed her view of the world during the campaign, because nowhere in any of those books did she show up. Not a single one. And that terrified her, because she figured this was a random happenstance that happened this time that was not likely to repeat itself. So this was her one shot, one chance at basically not dying out and not being reborn in the next iteration. Afterwards, it was more of a relief thing for her. She no longer was this keeper of all this knowledge of what happened before. So it's kind of like a weight had been lifted, because she's no longer fighting with the fate that was written in those books. No longer the one having to tell you, hey, you can't use your sword, Ash. I know you love it, but you have to get rid of it because it's going to do this,
Still
this, and this to
refuse.
you.
Still refuse.
Yeah, you don't have it anymore now, do you?
I'm gonna hunt that shit down. Just you wait. I told Rojan very adamantly, I'm like, she will hunt that shit down. When she knows it's back, she's going for it.
So it's a kind of a thing. Until I took a little while to adjust to it, but it was probably something she just kind of tried to move past, because it was odd in the moment. It was a lot of pressure in the moment, and she didn't like being that person to be like, well, your fate is to be this way.
Did it scare her at all? No longer having any sort of insight into the potential of events that could happen? I mean, having all that knowledge from the books, she saw this story play out thousands of different ways. So even if it was playing out in a brand new way, there's still some insight as to what could happen. But after that continuance ended, I mean, that insight was no longer applicable. Was that scary to her? Was that a relief to her? How did she react to that realization?
It was a relief for her. Like I said, their biggest concern with all of that, once she realized it was real, because the first few hundred books, she was like, oh, this is a cool story, they keep restarting. It took her a while to realize it was real, especially once you guys showed up. It became a burden, really. And like I said, she got really terrified that her not only her life, but her brother's didn't exist in any other iterations. So it was a huge relief.
How long was she in the library for? I forgot. You were there for a while.
A year.
It was a year. Okay.
I mean, was it really a year, or did it feel like a year? Because the way Rojan described how time worked in that library was kind of funky.
Yeah, it wasn't a year in the material plane. It was a year in the library. It was more than that in the material plane. I don't remember the exact ratio, but it was more than that.
I mean, your family was still alive, so no. It's cool. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. It was very odd coming back and having her brother not be 5 years younger than her anymore.
Yeah. Oh, brother.
Wasn't quite that bad if I remember right. He was still younger, just I think it was like I don't remember the exact ratio. I remember Roach and I had talked about it, but I don't remember what it is anymore.
Don't look at me. I don't remember that.
No, I'm bothered by it because I usually remember numbers.
Look, I'm not going through all the DMs to figure it out.
No, neither am I. Not happening.
There's a search feature,
It's like
sir.
And it searches everything, not just the DM
Yeah.
you're looking at.
And I'm not about to scroll through a couple years of DMs just in order to find something.
Well, and I mean that entire sequence is something that nobody should ever really think too hard about unless they want to drive themselves insane. Because I mean, The library was the domain of the librarian, and the librarian, as we learned, was like a veritable god amongst gods.
Mhm.
So
Technically
What-
the first.
yeah, what we saw of their abilities could have just been like a single grain of sand in a beach worth of abilities that they actually have. So
Yeah.
did everything we experience actually happen? Maybe.
Yeah, I always envisioned the librarian as like an overarching version of Jurgle, because like Jurgle only dealt with recording the dead and how they died, and the librarian, recorded everything. It's like,
And he's still recording stuff.
So I know Rosa said that, my family would still be alive, time kept repeating, but it's assuming that these were a fluke because the timelines weren't exactly the same every time. The book wasn't exactly the same every time.
Nope.
There was differences. There was times where Ash didn't meet Turok. They were.
Yeah, she hooked up
they-
with the dragon.
There was times where she hooked up with Rose as well. We knew that.
That's true. Yeah.
So her family her not showing up in any of the books at all tells her that the likelihood of her mother meeting her father again was slim. So she did not want to risk it. She wanted to survive this time around.
And survive she did.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, how does being a royal of the material plane, when you and Rose pretty much settled back in the Fae court, how did she adjust to that kind of life and their politics and rules? And were the Fae accepting of a non-Fae being part of the ruling party?
I think technically with the ritual, with the wedding vows we went through, I think Tarshar technically became Fae. I got
Right.
tied to Rose. But I don't know how they took that. I know for Tashara, she put a lot of pressure on herself to fulfill her mother's shoes. So without that pressure there, she could relax a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually became a lot less uptight. And she kind of tried to stay out of Rose's way when it came to the politics and only stepping in and helping when Rose asked for it. So unless Rose looked like she really needed the help or gave her, I'm sure they had some sort of code that told Tarshar to step in, but otherwise she just kind of let Rose do her thing. She didn't try to get too involved.
On it being such a kind of a bookworm, did you or did
Oh, yeah,
Tarshar
probably.
kind of read up on everything? Okay.
She had to understand the basic etiquettes. She didn't want to
Well,
cause problems.
be rude.
Yeah.
Very true. Did you guys, when you were on your journey, did you ever visit the island casino?
I would
Have fun.
probably say yeah.
Yeah.
The island casino was fun. I can definitely see, 2 or 3 trips there for an extended period of time.
They had a honeymoon. Where else
Yeah.
would you go?
Did they go there for the honeymoon, or did they go somewhere else?
Probably spar the time there, at least.
Yeah. I mean, Rose.
Popped in for a weekend.
I know Rose. I mean, Rose wanted to see more of the world, not as an adventurer, but as a
The
tourist.
tourist. Yeah.
It was basically every city or town she went into, it was either, as an adventurer, as a thief, as an assassin. There was always some aspect of, not actually enjoying where she was. And Rose, Rose still, was kind of angry. There were a lot of places that the party went to that she never had a chance to fully enjoy at all. It was just like, oh, we're here, I'm gonna do a little shopping, do whatever, and it's like, cheese it's the cops. And I'm like, what'd you do? It's like, you don't know.
Looks and tickles.
It's like,
Or
No,
was set
I
on
know.
fire.
What's on fire now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And,
Yeah.
Rose is like, oh, can we please just travel and visit places and
Yeah.
not have to worry about piers or bars or the mayor's house blowing up or catching on fire or people getting killed over the thread count of silk sheets.
Look, you killed a person to death by scaring them in the dark, okay?
Only
I'm
Tara Shar
pretty
knows that.
sure. Mm-hmm.
And and Rose did
Well,
not
so she did it every time. She did it
She
every
did-
book.
Episode 5.
she did not like his attitude. She gave him lip when there was no need to, and he paid the price. Rose was, I mean, the way I wrote Rose, she was very, she was subdued violence, when she started campaigning. Because people's like, oh, whatever, she's, she has like, these weird moments. But I mean, Rose was raised to literally be a weapon of mass destruction. That's how she was raised. That was what was intended, her intended fate. The fact that every so often, her fayness would, eke out, and she'd have a little bit of enjoyment. It was always an afterthought for her. It wasn't until she got really into the thick of being an adventurer that she came into her own.
Well, you talked about being a weapon and holding grudges. So after 60 years, does she still want to kill Turok?
Kinda.
Kinda.
I mean,
It's on principle now.
it's like,
Now it's just like I've stuck with it for so long. Now I still have to keep this.
all right, so it's basically, Turok brings Ashton happiness, and Rose appreciates that. It's not so, it's only kinda because Rose doesn't like losing.
Fair.
She's a sore loser. And Gillian and I had this conversation before that she felt that the only other person that she would feel jealous of isn't Taka, the succubus that she spent time with in hell, but Ash. Tara Shar was very conscious of that. There was a very feasible possibility that if there was an opportunity for Rose to get with Ash, that she would take it. We had the conversation.
Oh,
We did.
man.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I read 300 stories of Rose either pining after Ash and going mad.
Ash.
After Ash, yeah.
That's
That's
our
the ship
couple
name.
name. That's our
That's the
couple
ship
name,
name.
Rash.
Shit name.
Yeah. The ship name is Rash.
So either Rose was pining after Ash and going mad, or Rose was pining after Ash and Ash died because of the arrow thing, or Rose and Ash got together. Those were the three things for 300 books. That's the one person she's actually jealous over.
She's like, I hate this
Yeah.
bitch.
And she doesn't want to be a replacement for Ash,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Understandable.
and I told her that the reason why that Tara Shara didn't have to worry is because I don't want to say Rose fell out of love with Ashton. It's not the right wording. At least emotionally not in Rose's head. But when Ash was afflicted with forgetting, her family, thinking everybody was dead, and she basically sunk into that pit of despair, and Rose tried to pull her out, and Ash rejected her. there was a disconnect at that point. And the only reconciliation in Rose's mind is she knew she had feelings for Ash that were probably never going to go away, but she couldn't see herself being with Ashton anymore, because the one thing Rose respects the most in a partner is them being able to fight for themselves. Not only fighting for, family and friends, but when you're in a dark place and a hand is offered, and you need to be able to pull yourself out of it. And it's what Rose went through. She got drugged into a very dark place, and she was pulled out of it. And Ashton didn't allow Rose to pull her out of that darkness. And that's when Ashton knew that there wasn't enough care in Ashton's heart for Rose, for her to want to be with her in that manner. She still wanted to be part of her life, be a friend, be there for her in some sort of capacity, but she couldn't see herself being with her anymore, because if she wasn't good enough to pull her out of her darkest moment, then there was nothing for them going forward.
Yeah, I remember that. Ash was not in a good headspace at all. Being trapped in the hag mirror and everything like that. That was a low point for Ash for sure mentally. So yeah.
And the way that things worked out because of, the whole memory disconnects, Rose knew, you believe this, that's fine. Let me help you work out through this, whatever you're feeling. And when you basically slapped her hands away from her, she's like, I can't do. She knew that there was not enough of a connection between the two of them for her to be able to be of any true use to you as a partner.
But you found love in Tartar.
Well, which again, not scripted, but
right.
But the way that Tarshar and Rose kind of fell into each other's arms, not through happenstance. Rose wasn't looking for a relationship with Tarshar. It's just getting to know her, and understanding her feelings for her. That was what Rose was looking for, and for reciprocation. And it just, it was a natural thing.
Makes sense.
And for Shar, it was really just Taka's not anything to be jealous of, because she knows everyone's dirty little secrets. Let's just put it that way. The entire party, she knows all of them.
Look, Ash did not hide her dirty novels, okay? She made it very well known that she had that dirty non-secret.
Yeah, but did you tell them about the extra dirty ones she hid behind those ones?
Look, put the hag tomes away. Gaston's got it. Oh wait, you meant the other ones. Never mind.
that was kind of the fun part of playing both Zale and Kyo. Very unlike every other character that I've ever played, they didn't really have dirty secrets. No. They were pretty open about how awful they were.
Yeah.
They're like, we expect this.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Rose and Zale didn't really have a blossoming friendship until Zale got turned into a woman.
Which was still like episode like 7, 8. I was like, that was still fairly early on.
Yeah, it was
and
just like
Maybe
I
10.
mean they were kind of at odds with the way they did things. Rose didn't appreciate Zale's overzealousness with like dealing with other individuals. Because Rose is like if that's the mark, fine. If you're gonna take them out, do it quietly. Make sure you don't leave any traces behind so people can't come back and get you later. And Zale was just like, fuck this shit.
yeah, she was over there like tearing into people and cutting out their eyes and all sorts of weird shit. But yeah, by the end of the campaign, or at least the end of Zale's run within it, she cared a great deal for Rose. I'd say the care that she had for Rose was not the same as, but akin to like a sister or a daughter or a niece or something of that caliber.
A familial
And
sort of.
yeah, there was
bond, though.
a great affinity for Rose as a friend by the end of Zale's run.
Right, we probably have time for 1 or 2 more questions. Do you guys want to ask any or chat as we wrap this up?
I think Rosa wanted to know specifically how long of a time difference there was between the end of campaign 2 and the beginning of campaign 3.
60 years.
60 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
end of
We messaged him.
end of campaign 2 also marked the end of that era and the beginning of a new one, and we are now, as of campaign 3, 60 years into this new era.
Yep, after continuance.
Yep. Because timey-wimey, timekeeper librarian stuff.
Timey-wimey bullshit.
Timey-wimey bullshit.
Rosa says there's a question in...
Was it the one about if all the weapons turned into worms? Was it that one?
I don't think that was a real question.
It wasn't a
I
real
think
question, yeah.
I thought it was a real question.
Would you still love your weapons if they turned into worms?
I mean,
The
there's a
answer is
spell for
yes.
that. There's a spell for that.
Yeah, Rose still has all of her original weaponry.
Look, my
She
weaponry
has-
is decorative, so no.
Yeah,
Good.
Rose still has
Yeah.
all of her stuff. I mean, when she's not ruling the court. So Rose looks very different when she's ruling the court. So Rose has her same, rangery type outfit when she's, not ruling the court, because she doesn't have to keep up appearances. She can just chill and be herself. But when she's ruling the court, like I
Rangy Wiz,
wrote it
thank you
out.
so much for that raid. Welcome.
Oh, Raiders, welcome.
Sorry,
She has a very I was thinking about it. I was like, how would Rose, dress? Because I was kind of inspired by the book that the Fey Court is in, because all of the rulers of the Fey Court had a very distinct look about them that factored into their personality. Like the Mad King, he looked like a disheveled man of elegance.
Mhm.
So he had like top hat, tails. I mean, if he just straightened his shit up, we wouldn't tell that he's psychotic.
Yeah.
You know.
He
Yeah.
looked like a very disheveled dandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the former Queen of the Summer Court. She had this very dark, shadowy, purpley dress, and I was like, well, what is Rose gonna dress like? And then so what I thought was, her attire is, she has basically a black gown. The skirt is petals, So if you were to basically hold Rose upside down, her skirt would look like a black rose because
All the
of
poof
the
and ruffles under the layers.
poof, and it wasn't like meant to be poofy and ruffly, but it meant really it looked like a flower. Like the poofy was the curls of the rose being in bloom,
Right.
and then the accents were all green, thorny vines. And the bodice was basically an open-backed cross that connected along the back, so you can basically, when she walked around, and when you saw her back, like her back tattoo was in full display, unhidden from the world. And then she had disconnected black lace sleeves that draped up to her wrists, and dropped down and had the same black rose patterns and rosy vines on them. She basically looked like a walking flower. Even her crown was made of emerald that was fashioned into a crown of thorns, and she had like a black diamond rose as the centerpiece and black diamond buds along the side.
I
Oh,
feel like
she
you
was-
would have gotten the same person who threw the armor into Tashar's dress to throw armor into Rose's as well.
There you go.
Yeah, she was literally a walking flower whenever she ruled the court, and that's how she wanted, that's how she wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
Something of beauty, something to be admired, but also something to be wary of, because if you don't watch your step, you are going to get pricked.
Every rose has its thorns. Literally.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
You set me up for it. What could I say?
I purposely did not put that on Rose's playlist because it would be too cheesy.
It's a good song too. But yeah, all right. Well, it is that time. Thank you guys so much for joining us on our Destiny Forged part 3 of our epilogue edition of Campaign 2 that ended, 2-3 years ago now. God, how time has flown.
Feels like a lifetime ago, yeah.
It's crazy, and I miss them so much. So, is it weird I'm looking forward to Campaign 4 already, but I don't want Campaign 3 to end either? It's mixed feelings.
Right?
I'm very excited, for Campaign 3, despite, the fact that Yuriko is a walking, talking, bitch sickle.
It's an understatement.
I mean, you and me both, man. My plans for Campaign 3 are all falling into place right now, and I am super excited for what's coming.
Speaking of Campaign 3, depending on what y'all do during this assault on Morning Glory,
I don't
we
like where
may
this is
just
going.
outright end the campaign.
Oh God.
And that's not I'm not talking about the whole possibility of a failure. There is
Like
is
wrap up.
a success contingency to where if you do something very specific, you pretty much just end the campaign.
Look, the campaign is not allowed to end until God, we're talking about campaign 2, so I can't remember everyone's characters' names.
I mean, campaign 3.
Campaign 3, yeah. No, because we're talking
What
about
do they
campaign 2
look
also
like?
today, so I can't remember my characters' names. I can't
Oh,
remember my
Nalani.
own, okay? Yeah.
Lonnie, there you go.
Not until Nalani and Kel get together, okay?
No!
Nalani's
I mean,
just
if
romantic
either of them
stupid.
had a clue, they would be together already.
I'm honestly surprised that they haven't just been pulling each other into empty rooms at this point in time without bored
Right?
them.
You know what?
You know what?
I'm
Nalani
just
would
like-
have, except the fact that he asked her to be her wingman. She's like, oh.
Because you guys are pulling the whole, because you're borderline friend zoning, because you guys are like, bro, bro, yeah, we can chill in the bathroom naked, whatever. Yeah, let's go spar, whatever. You're doing the whole whatever thing, which gets you in the friend
Look,
zone.
she's romance
Look.
stupid, okay?
And so
I
is
really
he.
need Mia to notice what's
He's
happening so she can help
semi-romance
us.
stupid. He's romance stupid. He gets a good example from his parents, who are very much in love, very much show the affection to each other.
No,
His experience is a little more on the side.
he's romance stupid
Yeah.
because
Yes.
Yuriko was pretty much like, so you're gonna tap that, it's like in a roundabout manner, and he was just
He's like, what?
he's just like, what? Huh? Just like,
So I need Mia to get her little nosy fingers involved and help me out here.
Oh, she
Yeah.
will. She will. I think like the next time she sees them even remotely close to each other, it's
Yes,
just all getting laid out. Because I mean, she was all over him until she saw how they were with each other, and it's like, oh, something's going
Yeah.
on there. I'm gonna back off.
Yeah.
So she's picked up on it.
Look,
They gotta pick.
I
up
think
on
I
that
think the
couple.
entire house
I
has
think
picked up on it
everyone
at this
in the
point in time.
house
Kemek
Oh yeah,
has.
fully-
They're
at
like,
this
oh my
point,
God.
everybody
fully
knows.
expects something to
fuck
happen
already,
between those
Jesus.
two. Yeah, and
And
then
look-
just like what's taking so long?
he asked her to be his wingman, okay?
Again, you're
She's
borderline
like,
friend zone.
"Oh, okay.
It's-
because he's a goober.
He is a goober.
You both are.
Okay,
You both
after
are.
this assault on this tower, we'll go back to the house. They can bang, and then we'll go assault Morning Glory.
There we go.
Like we just need to get them both drunk and throw them into an empty room and see what happens.
Yeah.
Look, before the campaign ends, I just need to get to level 14. We're just over halfway to that point, because the
I was
second
gonna say.
because the second I get to level 14, my timey-wimey bullshit will affect everyone, and I want to experience it, God damn it. I just need to get to 14. It was 12 or 14, now I can't remember, now I'm second guessing myself.
I think it's 12.
14. It might be 12, but the timey-wimey bullshit that I could pull off, it will then affect everyone.
Well, the thing is,
And I won't be just purely support on myself.
it is either you are going to completely 100% succeed, which stops like Act 2, no, not Act 2, but like quote unquote Chapter 2 from happening, because the bullshit that's supposed to happen isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Or you partially succeed and then Part 2 comes along and you keep going along. Or you all just outright die, and well, that's that.
That's
I'm
not
not
allowed
comfortable
either,
going.
because then Kel and Alani can't freaking finish this thing. They started.
Yeah.
It frustrates me, okay? I'm frustrated for them.
I, as a player and as Kemek, do not feel confident marching into Morning Glory right now.
Oh.
I as a
not-
player don't, but I as a character, I just learned some level 10 magic. So, bring it on, Morning Glory.
Level 10 magic that can completely and utterly destroy you if done wrong.
Well,
I'm with
I-
Mia.
Sounds like
that
Mia.
could be said about all of my magic at
Sounds
this
like
That
point.
could be
Mia.
sent. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Mia.
That's
What
just
am I
Mia.
saying? That's Mia.
Mia just explodes and we're like, yeah, we expected that. Anyway.
I'm with HG Fox. As a player, not very confident. Nalani, very confident in her martial prowess.
Kemek
So-
is not. It's not the lack of
Yeah.
confidence, it's the lack of prep. It's
Well,
Kemek
Kemek,
is
there's a
not-
reason
yeah.
Kemek's the smarter of us two.
Kemek's like, no.
All I know,
And I have no
is-
wisdom.
all I know, if shit goes down, I have 8 fragile glass beads with various creatures of indescript like lethality
There
on
you
my
go.
person, and I'm not afraid to use them. It's like-
And
Just
we
gonna
have
just
wishes.
throw them.
And we have wishes.
yeah.
I mean,
we'll
all
see
of
what
this is a
happens.
mute point anyway, because I'm not going to let the campaign end until I get a hug from Yuriko. So
Yeah.
Look,
That's the end
campaign
goal of the
3 is
hug.
not gonna last 17 years right now. Okay.
it will last as long as it takes.
Look, we're not gonna let campaign 3 end because everyone's just gonna keep getting sick.
That too.
That's just
Oh.
2024. Just
Yeah.
effing us all over, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, knowing us, even when we're off screen when we end a session, we could talk for hours literally for all this stuff. So I'll go ahead and I'll reel us all back in as
Yes.
Thank you again, guys, so much for joining us, both Azharen and GilleTam. We appreciate learning more about the characters and what they've been up to. We will have Raven. He's a little. His schedule is clashing a little bit, so it may be pre-recorded. To be determined. So just kind of hang out in both. We'll kind of have the announcements both in Discord as well as our shows, kind of letting you know about that. So if you have any questions on that, if it is pre-recorded, definitely let us know ahead of time, since obviously we won't be able to ask it live. But yes, we are doing Raven next, since his schedules have kind of been colliding a little bit. So to be determined on that. Until then, definitely check us out on all of our other shows. We have a lot of lovely shows, ever growing, as we have our, this show, Destiny Forged, our longest running show, Campaign 3, every Monday, run by Rojan. Then we have our every other Tuesday Star Wars 5e game, run by Tiltbot. Again, every other Tuesday on that one. Then we have alternating shows on Thursdays, when we're not sick or appliances are exploding. We have our, at the same time, Rojan and HP Fox were like, that was great. We do have our Tricorn Isles show, run by Rojan, which is our High Seas campaign. Then we have the Mass Effect 5e game, run by me, to do space sci-fi things. Then we have our 2 alternating Saturday show. We have Wayward Wanderers, which is run by Azharen. It's a Pathfinder 2 Extinction Curse campaign, which when they eventually do wrap up this part of the story, they're going to take a quick break and do a Avatar, Last Airbender style little campaign filler, and that will be interesting. So don't know when that's happening. It kind of depends on the characters and how far they get in that. So
if going by timescale and like how weird my players are, I'm figuring
it's always on them.
probably beginning of summer.
So you got time.
So yeah, beginning of summer, and there will be open seats. So there will be casting call for anyone who's interested in being a bender or being in the bender mythos.
So we'll definitely let you guys know as soon as we get closer to that as well. And then, of course, we have a couple of shows on Saturday still, where the first Saturday of every month we have this lovely show, Behold Lore, where we talk about all kinds of things that pertain to all our shows here on the channel. We also have our last Saturday of every month, which is our Would-Be Heroes, one of our newer campaigns. It's based on the Kids on Bikes system. We play basically X-Men superheroes at school and everything. It's very 90s X-Men, and I absolutely love it. This year has just been kicking our ass. We did miss our last episode, unfortunately. Talks maybe of doing it a little bit more. We'll figure it out our schedules, because we love it, even though it's one of our baby shows right now, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you guys miss anything, we do post them up on YouTube. We do keep you up to date on our Discords and our Twitter socials as well, so we'll keep you on whatever happens, whether that be one-shots, changing shows, or whatever. We put everything up there for you guys. So until then, we'll see you guys next time here. Otherwise, we'll see you on Monday for some Destiny Forged. It's all turning in right now.
Look, we're not doing Behold Lore on a weekly basis right now.
Nope, sorry. Until then, you guys have a good night. Take care.